Welcome back. All right, so I don't know when else I'm gonna do the news video. So here I am, middle of the night. And I apologize if any of this is kind of old news because Saturday was just all day hockey. So here we are. Montreal in the news a lot right now. Savard out 8 weeks with an ankle injury, so it's 2 months. Of course, for Montreal, this means that it's a chance for somebody else to get in the lineup and hopefully excel. Based on tonight's result against Edmonton, though, not much excelling going on there right now. But again, this year's just been a nightmare. You just ride it out and you say, all right, hopefully that's just a one-off and you go back to normal next year. Carey Price was in full gear. Now, he is also supposed to address the media on Sunday. The reporter that reported that also then stated there's nothing ominous about this. It's not, he's going to, because again, I think with what happened with Ben Bishop, when we hear he's going to address the media after starting his rehab and getting into full gear, yeah, we remember Bishop saying, yeah, it turns out I can't go. It doesn't sound like that's what's going to happen with Carey Price. So no concern there yet. So Carey Price, at this point, still going to be a Montreal Canadian at some point this year, maybe. We'll likely hear more from him tomorrow on what the expectation is regarding him being able to play this year. And Brendan Gallagher, who has been brought up in trade rumors a lot. And there's some trade rumors too. I'm going to put this down here, just to make sure I don't forget, because I saw it tonight on Hockey Night in Canada, and I want to talk a little bit about this. So Gallagher wants to stay, is what he's saying now. Is that winning's important, but he also wants to be part of the solution in Montreal. So he's not on the wagon of I'd like to get out of here at this point, which I think is remarkable considering how miserable this season has been for both himself and for most of the Montreal Canadiens. I think they're going to want to come back next year and prove, hey, it was just a bad year and we're better than this. So we'll see, right? So all that Montreal news all rolled into one. Aaron Dell has been waived by Buffalo. I expect he'll clear tomorrow. Tomorrow being Sunday, which is today, according to my computer. It's after midnight, so it's today. But Craig Anderson being back, which is good because they didn't have a goalie. Because of Dell being suspended and guys being hurt or on the protocol list, they didn't have goalies. So it was a good thing Craig Anderson was back and was able to play and played well against Arizona because there really wasn't much choice if he wasn't back. Jacob Markstrom is now at 7 shutouts. The question that was asked tonight on Hockey Night in Canada was whether or not Calgary can continue to keep up this ridiculous pace with shutouts. I think they can. I find it interesting that they win a lot of games by shutout, and yet they're not leading the league in goals against. So the consistency, and whether you want to see that as consistency with the goaltending or if it's something with the blue line, it's not quite where you'd want it to be. So I think in terms of how Sutter coaches the team, and we saw tonight with Sutter coaching against Boudreau, wow. After you. No, after you. No, I insist, after you. Just somebody go. Somebody do something. So just that's kind of what's going on. So Markstrom, one of his easier shutouts tonight, and I'm always happy to see Markstrom getting shutouts because for so many years in Vancouver, it didn't happen. It's like, okay, we're 2 minutes left. He's finally going to get nope. The defense blew it on that one. No shutout for Markstrom. So I'm glad he's getting a bunch of shutouts. I wish it had been in Vancouver, but hey, it's in Calgary, which isn't that far off. Also interesting note with the Florida game today, Huberdeau almost did the lacrosse goal. He thought about it, and instead he sent up Bennett. So with the lacrosse goal now becoming more and more of a part of NHL games and highlight reel packages, and it's always going to be a highlight reel goal, what it does is it kind of throws off the blue line. So if the defense is worried about the guy coming from behind the net putting in lacrosse style, I think what that does is it should free up somebody in front of the net, like a Bennett in this situation, where a guy might be like, I'm going to do it. And then when the defense is paying attention to that and trying to prevent that from taking place, you can then put it through, and maybe you got somebody wide open in front of the net because you can throw off both the goaltender and the defense if they think you're going to try to get that goal. So, yeah, it's interesting to see how this is evolving and it's becoming just a part of everyday hockey. There are some who don't like it, and there are some who do. And I remember, Gretzky in his office. Part of what made Gretzky so dangerous in his office, because you always hear about behind the net Gretzky in his office, was if you do not worry about Gretzky in his office, you're just protect the pass, he'd come out from behind the net and score. He had that goal scoring ability. So if you can make players respect that lacrosse move as being potentially there, I think it opens up other plays on the ice as well. And I'm all for creativity. Any creativity in the game I think is good. Highlight reel stuff is always good. And yeah, how many times have we seen that Makar overtime goal? How many times has the NHL played that commercial? 11,695,395,621 times, including tonight. So clearly, the league likes the creativity and announcers freaking out over goals. So yeah, we'll see who gets the next lacrosse goal. And again, I think it'll just become more and more just a part of the game. It won't even be worthy of making a big mention of. So Josh Norris, who got hurt, he's out until at least the All-Star game, and they're saying with shoulder injury. So yeah, teams have started actually saying what the injuries are. We've got an ankle injury, we've got a shoulder injury. What's going on here? Is this the NHL? But with Norris out, it's another, again, it's a chance for young Senators players to step up. Of course, they're already short on Batherson, so it really hurts their goal scoring ability quite a bit. And for Norris, who was having a fantastic year, it's too bad. But yeah, so for Ottawa, their season already kind of lost, but Norris being out until at least the All-Star break will hurt them. ESPN has done a tier ranking, which I thought was interesting. If you wanted to check it out, it's just on their main NHL page. The top 4 contenders that they feel are most likely to win the Stanley Cup this year, and this is in alphabetical order, are Carolina, Colorado, Florida, and Toronto. I think it's gutsy not having Tampa in the top tier. Tampa's in the tier underneath that. And not having a Pittsburgh or Washington or St. Louis or Minnesota. So I think that's pretty gutsy to have the 4. And to include Toronto and Florida, Toronto not having one around since 2004, Florida not having one around since 96. It's pretty gutsy. And of course, for Colorado, they haven't been out of round 2 since, I think it's 2001's the last time they got out of round 2. And for, of course, Carolina, the last time that they won the Cup was in 2006. So if these were somehow your 3 of your final 4 teams, because 3 of these are Eastern, so you can't have them as the final 2. But if 3 of these 4 were your final 4, it'd be very interesting playoffs indeed. So yeah, I think that's interesting. I don't know that I necessarily 100% agree, but that's the thing. I love that you don't have to 100% agree. That's why I like doing power rankings and looking at everybody else's after I've done mine. So today on the Hockey Night in Canada machine there, they were talking about the Canucks and JT Miller, and what they're saying is that for Miller, it's a player, a young prospect, and a first-round draft pick, and they want like a good prospect for JT Miller. And now there's rumors that teams are calling about Connor Garland. The Canucks need cap flexibility next season. If this is going to be improved, they need the cap flexibility. So I would not be surprised if both Miller and Garland ended up getting traded. I don't think there's a market for Besser because of the $7.5 million qualifying offer that's out there. I don't see that market being there unless you could trade him to a team that's already worked out an extension with him. I think you get a better return for Garland and Miller. And what's going to be tough for Canuck fans is the players that they trade are going to be players we really like, because they have to be players that other teams like and want. You can't just say, well, we'll give him Dickinson for a second. Nobody's doing that. Well, we'll give him Tucker Pullman for a second and a third. Nope. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what Rutherford and Alvin do. Now that we've got that in place, and there are a lot of rumors that Vancouver may be the team that gets the trading started. So they may be the first seller. They may set the market. And honestly, I think they could get a king's ransom for Garland because he's already got the extension in place. They could get a lot for Miller. He's signed for next year too. They're not rentals. And if they're serious about this, again, it is Jim Rutherford. It's Patrick Alvin. We'll see what Alvin's able to do, and we'll see if Rutherford is really truly the guy in charge. I think we'll know by how the trades come down, but yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be an interesting time for Canuck fans, and again, I would expect full on panic if/when one of those players gets traded, because again, on the surface of it, it'll probably be a player, roster guy, a young prospect, and a first round draft pick, or some kind of a combination similar to that. And so we'll see what happens. So let me know in the comments section below if you're a Canucks fan. Are you okay with Connor Garland being included in possible trade discussions, or is he a no-go? And if he's not a no-go, who is? So yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.